Hey Jason. So it's the your third game in five days. Just coming into the game, what was the sort of feeling of the team? Was there sort of a tired feeling? Just how did you feel coming into the game?
Coach Boals told us it was their third game in 5 days too. Whoever the most energetic team, tougher team would win, and they came in and they out toughed us. They were just ready to play. They had the same thing we did, so they just outplayed us. Credit to them.
Yeah, you mentioned energy, and that seemed like that was something that was there early on in the game. You guys were going back and forth. Just how difficult was it to come back when they would go on a run?
They got a lot of and ones, a lot of threes. If we make like a little 4 run, they just hit a three turnover. You can't really make runs if you're just trading baskets. So that's on us. We got to get stops.
There was, I think, 14 turnovers in the first half. You guys were able to clean that up a little bit. What at halftime? What was sort of the discussion about being able to take care of the ball against their defense?
Coming into the game, that was a big key too, and that's on us for having that many in the first half. It's on me especially. Um, we were just more aggressive, just doing what we need to do in the second half. What we were supposed to do from the jump.
When you sort of replay this game back in your head, it's sort of speculated that you're going to see Buffalo again in the tournament. What are some of the things that you're eager to implement if you get to see them again in the tournament again?
But, we have won 6 in a row, and sometimes adversity is good. So we'll take this, we'll learn from this, and hopefully we can see them again in Cleveland.
The like sort of as I mentioned before, coming into this week, the odds were stacked against you. You weren't able to play on Tuesday. You still come out of this week 2-1. Is there is there any sort of good outlook to look at as opposed to just looking at this game as opposed to still being able to have a good week?
Like I said, we we'll learn from this. We haven't. It's been a long time since we had a loss quite like this. So that was just make us hungrier. We'll watch the film and we'll learn from what we did wrong.
Jason, things seemed to be rather chirpy in that first half, especially from the Buffalo sideline. Did that play any impact in the way you guys played tonight? You think?
You were talking about the bench.
Yeah.
Um, like I said, they came in with more energy than us, and the bench gets the energy from the players doing what they're supposed to do. So that's on us starters.
Jason, obviously the shooting wasn't the best it could be today. You guys were 0 for 11 in the second half when shooting a three. What do you think was like the main cause of that? Do you guys think it was just a energy that Buffalo kind of drowned you guys out, or was it like a week that kind of weighed on you guys? Like what kind of went into that?
Um, we missed a lot of open looks, myself included. Um, it's shots that we normally make. We had an off night tonight. I don't think it's anything too serious.
Yeah, you say off night. Is that just sort of the feeling right now? Just a bad day at the office and get right back to it next week?
It's one game. It's one game, and like I said, we'll learn from it. We'll watch the film. We'll get better from it.
Hey, coach, how you doing?
Good.
So it's been a while since you had to take a loss. Just at the end of the game, what did you say to the team in the locker room?
Yeah, I thought give Buffalo a lot of credit. I thought they deserved to win. The biggest thing was we didn't match the energy level, to start the game. And the keys going in were take care of the basketball. And I think we had 14 turnovers in the first half. And they turned those turnovers into quick points in transition. And you're not beating Buffalo by doing that. And I thought we didn't respond like we needed to, like we had been, previously. But like I said, give Buffalo a lot of credit. We battled coming out, started second half. I think we cut it to 12, and then I thought we spent so much energy get back into it. The first 2.5 minutes of the second half, we got a little tired. Maybe should have subbed some guys out because they were playing so hard, and then they pushed it right back to like 23, like that. And but it's something to learn from, and got to learn from it and move on.
Yeah, speaking of those surges, like to end the half, for instance, there was a moment where it looked like the game could have been back to single digits. Buffalo goes on a 7-0 run to push it back to 20. Just, you guys are, your team is willing to fight, but how much harder does that make it when you're facing a 12-point deficit versus a 20-point deficit?
Yeah, that's huge. And I think if you look at it, JL, when you're down that much and you really expend so much energy to get back into it, now it's like, okay, you cut it to 12, you got to keep going. And I didn't think our legs were there. I thought in the second half we got some really good looks. We didn't make a three in the second half, but like I said, I mean, this is the first game in a while that we've done it, and you don't want to use it as an excuse, but that was 3 games in 5 days, and coming off that 21-day layoff, your legs, our legs weren't there today. We were step slow.
Yeah, obviously 3 games in 5 days, but Buffalo was a bit of the bigger opponent as opposed to Eastern. But you mentioned that you wish you would have had some subs. Who in particular do you wish you would have weaved in a little bit more today?
Well, I think anybody bring energy. I think Mark and Miles always bring energy off the bench. Sam hasn't practiced since he was cleared to come back. So it's tough to get his conditioning going. He's been doing some individual workouts. I thought Ryfin played well, in his 9 minutes, in the game. But I think the biggest thing is just when you come in the game, positively impacting it, bringing energy on both ends, and we needed that.
Looking at the standings, it's looking likely that you might see Buffalo again in the tournament. What do you think like the main differences to change before a potential rubber match is?
Well, I mean, like obviously that's far away, so I'm not really worried about that right now. Worried about tonight and tomorrow's recovery and getting ready for Kent. But go back to game 1 and game 2. What we wanted to do today, we did in game 1. We didn't do today, so we know the blueprint. Just a matter of doing it.
Speaking of
last time your team lost, they pulled off a 6-game winning streak. So, thinking about the potential recovery and film session, does it get you amped up to know that your team has the potential to bounce back from something like this?
Yeah, and they've done it all year, and we were playing with a lot of confidence. And like I said, we ran into a team that was ready, and you beat on their floor, and they threw the first punch, and we didn't respond, and you got to regroup, and it's an unforgiving league, so we got to be ready to go on Tuesday, and that starts tonight and tomorrow.
Speaking of that, you have 3 days instead of 2 going into Kent State. Is that going to be much bigger considering you've had 3 games in 5 days to have that extra day to prepare and rest?
Well, you're not going to do much preparing from a practice standpoint, because it's you're still going to be 3 and 5, 4 and 8, which is kind of crazy to be playing that many games in that short amount of time at the end of the year doing what we did. But the biggest thing is trying to have that extra day of rest as opposed to 1 day in between, of preparation time. So the preparation really will be extra rest.
Coach, you mentioned at the beginning of the interview, you talked about how they pushed the tempo of the game, 14 first half turnovers. What do you tell your team in that locker room going into halftime to sort of try to get control of the pace of the game?
Well, when our offense is really good, and we're I think effective field goal percentage might be around 50%. So it's like every time we shoot, 1 out of 2 is going in the bucket. So their defense, they thrive on turnovers. So to give up 14 turnovers, it's just way too many. It's opportunities that we don't have to score, and we struggled in the first half doing that. And coming into halftime, I challenged them to come out, compete, play harder, and get back to doing what we wanted to do at the start of the half. Take care of the basketball, get movement off the ball. Because they're so gap heavy, and we did a lot of one-on-one. The first 12, 13, 14 minutes of the game, and starting in the second half, we started driving it, jump stop, kick. Got good looks and just didn't knock them in.
And then Mbale had a big game for Buffalo. What was your goal defensively to try to contain him a little bit?
Well, I would, without watching the film, I would say a lot of his are probably in transition. And he's an athletic big who can run. He hit a three, which he was, I think, 2 for 9 on the year, 2 for 10 on the year. So you don't really expect that, but when things are going good, it's easy to be up and get your confidence going. And we didn't do enough to stem the tide.
And then their bench seemed a little chirpy, especially in that first half. Do you think that played any role in the way the game went for you guys?
I don't think so. That started in pregame warmups. We tried to tell the officials about it, and they were doing some stuff on the court that I thought let it get away, which I was disappointed I wasn't taken care of. But that didn't have any really effect. I mean, that's I told our guys after the game, you win with class, you lose with class, and we'll always do that. I'm not worried about what they do or what they say.